There were some fonts. Okay, I totally don't know where simple form went. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's check the email. The email gives you the same thing that they have on the website. So, come on. Study. This happened in the morning. Okay, well, we're going to go to my other simple form email. I think they go into spam. They tell you to check spam. So I will send my old. So, okay, here is the email that you get. So there's that token. So I'm going to actually change out this so that I know where to see this code. So my token is here. So I'm going to replace, paste, and then let's look through the code. So it says the redirect to is optional. So here's redirect to. It says the form will redirect to the refer on submission. And then this says the complete return URL. So it has to be like the whole email address. So this is like if you want to send them to a thank you page. So let's get this set up. So I want to, I'm just going to like copy this and copy the file name or copy the file or duplicate the file, maybe rename. Okay, fine. I'm going to make a new file. And then I just didn't want to type what do you like over again. And then I'm going to say, what do you like -thanks.html. I like to have the name of the form file be like similar to the thanks page so that I know they're together. Okay, so I'm just going to like basically have a page that doesn't have anything except thanks for, whoops, silly bananas. Thanks for telling me what you like. So this isn't going to work until it's live. So I'm going to have to like push it up to see it. But I know that the URL is going to be, because it's in my main directory, it's going to be my homepage / what do you like -thanks. And so I can set that up now. So, and I know that because it's like, it's right in the main directory. It's not in a subfolder. So right here, http://alanacodes.github.io/ what do you like -thanks.html. Okay, I'm gonna push this because GitHub is slow. Oh, I'm gonna do it from the purple app. Okay, so here is my Alana codes. Here's my 2 files, hooray. So I'm gonna say added what do you like page. The pages commit to master. Now it's saved locally. And now I'm gonna say push to origin. It's gonna push it up into the cloud. Okay, so now I have this ugly, that's not ugly. Aurora Borealis is not ugly ever. Okay, I have this field. So you will learn about the form stuff and how to style it. But I'll just make a quick little, so I have a text field. I want to have an email field. So I'm going to just copy this. I'm going to call it input type email. And then that way I can take advantage of the browser will actually say, oh, this is an email field. It needs to have an @ symbol and a dot. email. And then, so now I have two fields, but they don't like say anything, right? They're like totally blank. Oops. So I want to give them a label. So I'm going to say label tab. And this label, it has a for attribute, and the for needs to match the name. So for name, for the name of the field, I'm going to say, I'll just say first name because it's confusing if I don't say first name. If I say name equals name, that's confusing. So label for first name, and then I'll do a label for email. Label for email, and then the name will be email. And then inside the label, so right now there's nothing, just empty, but inside the label, that's where I want to say first name. And then that will show up. And then inside the label for email, I want to say email. So this label tag is pretty important because if you are using a screen reader, you won't be able to understand what each field is unless it has a label that's associated with it. And it's important for the for attribute to match the name, because you could theoretically have a label anywhere on your page. But you know, yeah, so here it is, it's saying, okay, well, this field belongs to this label and the text in the label is this. So I'm just going to put a break tag in just to put them on different lines so they look a little prettier. And then I'll just move on with my life. Oh, instead of test form, so see how it says test form, I'm going to say, I'll just change it to this is what I like. I guess I should have a field about things I like. I'll make a text area. So this is more like a larger field where I could put some stuff, and then I'll do a label for it. I'll call it stuff. And then I want to make sure text area has a name called stuff. So now I could like put some stuff in. All right, I should say, what's the stuff? Okay, so there's my text area. So my name is Alana. What's this? Oh, let's push this so we can actually try it out. So I'm going to push it again. So now GitHub probably has that first version. So now at least I know I have like a thank you page. So I'm going to say added stuff. Oh, my hands. And then because I'm going to typo, I'm just going to like replace this with alanacodes.github.io/what do you like? Okay. All right, so there's the old version. Let's refresh it till it shows up. Refresh, refresh, refresh. Now I go look at the purple app. Oh, I did push it. Come on. Let's go. Let's go, people. So that's the first part. So I'll talk while I'm waiting for this to get up there. In my email, when I signed up, I also got a couple other things. I got instructions, which I just was like a cheater and just grabbed the code they first gave me. But the instructions go into like a little more detail. So there's that code. And then, yeah, and they show you can do a bunch of different types of things. And then other stuff. So that's one link. And the other link is the good one. This one is you can view all the messages that you sent. So even though my thank you page was broken, we should see that the first form that I sent. So this is like, I've used this code before, so there's more entries, but this one is coming from Alana Codes, and it is this. Oh, this was from this morning. Okay, let's refresh. 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 There we go. Okay, so my first name is Lala. What does Lala like? Did anybody watch Teletubbies? Does Lala like music? Yeah, right? Okay, we'll say Lala likes music. Music and singing. Email lala@teletubbies.com. Oh, if I don't have a whole email, if I just say Lala and I try to submit this, it gives me an error, which is great. So it's got the browser's got built-in validation on email. If I do Lala at, it's still angry. It says I need a dot. So I have to say Lala at something, So now that will send. And now it's going to go to my, hopefully, thank you page. Hooray. So that redirect sends me here. So now in simple form, if I refresh, so there's my form. So I can collect any kind of data that I want from people. And you could use Google Forms for this, but Google Forms has made it hard/impossible to make the form look good. You used to be able to embed the code and then make it look however you wanted. They've taken that ability away. So this is like the next best thing. It's free. And then I believe you can export all of this stuff. Oh, it also catches spam, which is great. But yeah, I believe you can export this into an Excel spreadsheet. I swear I've done it, but it's possible that I have not. Resend. Yeah, so maybe you can't, but at least you have data. So, okay, so that is the homework assignment, is to just add a form to your homepage. In this case, I just added another link to, come on, to my nav. So there's the what form that I just made. That's from this morning. But yeah, if you want to just put it in your homepage, that's cool too. But just like get used to using forms, play around. Okay, back to, let's close out some of this malarkey. So the reason it's not super secure is that you need this token to like get to this page. And that's a pretty random set of numbers and letters, but it's not secure. It doesn't require a login to get to this data. So just be aware of that. So yeah, no social security numbers. Okay. Keep that open. Go back to week 4. Okay, so your journal prompt is really woo-woo this week because it's just what I've been thinking about a lot. So I've been thinking about kind of two subjects. One is the discomfort of learning. And I've heard a lot from a lot of you, and it's why I really want to do breakouts today to help so that you can help each other with code issues. There's a complete discomfort with this class, especially because you are super solid in your design ideas and concepts and tools right now. And I'm like, yep. And now you're just not going to feel like you have any foundation whatsoever. You're just going to like hack this stuff together. So there's a lot of discomfort in the class. And this is a super short article about how learning is supposed to be uncomfortable. And then this one is about the resistance of the mind towards things. Like for me right now, I don't want to like exercise like I walk my dog twice a day, but I don't want to do like other exercise. And it's like this weird resistance that if I just stopped for a minute and just considered what it was, why I was feeling it, and what benefits I would get if I stopped resisting, it would probably help. So this article is about that. They're both really short. And I thought like it would be a kind of a nice exercise, thinking about this class, thinking about the practice of learning how to code, how you can apply that to like a productive list of like things, almost like your own kind of like manifesto or something for like getting through this class, when like shit is broken and you hate it and all that stuff. So yeah, so just a journal prompt on that process of just getting past like being blocked. And then I'm loving your site inspirations of the week, and I want to do like a GitHub project as one of the homework assignments where we all pile it all into one. So keep adding those sites. I love I love them, and I wish I could like comment directly on your home pages. It sucks I have to like go back and forth, but I've been pinging some of you. Yeah, and then there is this great video. This guy learned web code. He likes cats. So this 30-minute Flexbox video I think will really solidify Flexbox for you. Jordan, thank you so much for finding Flexbox Froggy, because I love that game. Yeah, so Flexbox Froggy is there's like 3 frogs, and there's 3 lily pads, and you have to use the different like space around, space between, to like get them to sit on lily pads. And it's great because like Flexbox, for left to right alignment, they use justify, and for top to bottom, they use align, and that's confusing. And the only way to kind of get past that, I think, is just like repetitive practice. And so Flexbox Froggy is great for that. This video is also great because it starts with a cat. Let's just watch the start. Oh, it's probably going to be an ad first. But anyway, the guy that made this video is really awesome. I've watched tons of his stuff. And he is great at explaining stuff, and he doesn't talk a mile a minute like I do. So I recommend him. I actually have to watch him on 2 times speed because he's not fast enough. Okay, so Ducket, the reading for Ducket this week is on forms, tables. So it's a way of displaying your data in a table. And then chapter 14 is the CSS chapter on boxes. So it'll really help solidify this idea of like a div is a box and a section is a box, and that like header is a box, everything's a box, and it's about arranging boxes and then making them not look like boxes. So that is the reading for this week. And then the last one is just to think about project. And so let's see, it's 12:30. Yeah, maybe we should just think about it now. And then I'm going to send you off into breakout rooms. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting stuff. Fonts, there's a lot still. Okay. Let's go into breakout rooms of 2 to 3 people. In this class, is there anyone that I have sadly neglected and ran out of time with for meeting about your design comps? I feel like I may have gotten to everyone in this class. Oh yeah, there's actually less people in this class now. Of course, the class that I added less people to had more drops, and the class that I added more people to, no one has dropped. Okay, so Let's do fonts. Make sure I get everything that I want to cover. Googling fonts. That's not from today. Okay. Okay, fonts. So really quick, Type Kit. I've heard I want to make sure I can hear your sounds. I think I have heard your sounds. Somebody say something.
Yo, what's up?
Nice. Okay. I'm gonna be forever paranoid now. Okay, sharing screen. So 3 ways to do fonts. Fonts 3 ways. Oh, and also because you guys are spoiled, because for some reason I am more together in the afternoon. I'm going to show you my favorite font, one of my favorite font websites. Come on, fingers, warm up. Font Squirrel is awesome. And yeah, let's get a font here to use. You can have like a font file that you can use instead of using Type Kit or Google Fonts. And Font Squirrel has free downloadable fonts. Also, my favorite part about Font Squirrel, and this is how I practice like hand lettering typography, is they have a test. They have like a test run. So let's do chunk 5. If I go to chunk 5, there's a test drive. And I can actually see what my brand or the name of my website or some header. I can like see what it'll look like. And I can even try, they have regular or print for chunk 5. Ooh, cool. I'm definitely downloading this one. Can I use OTF? That's a good question. I'm going to make it really big and I'm going to say stuff. So you can kind of try it out. That's too big. Code stuff. So maybe this will be my homepage font. I like it. Okay. So they have an OTF. Let's download that. And then I want to go to this web kit and see web font kit and see if there's anything else. Web font. Okay. It's just the license, blah, 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 redistribution, blah, 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 blah. Okay. It's like a sorry, thank you note. Okay. I wonder if they have the code. So I always just go and find the code that I need. And I usually do something like CSS font file. And then I have an OTF. So let's do that. Font file OTF. Okay, using OTF fonts. This is part of my Googling lesson. Stack Overflow, it's a site where you can ask a question and people will give you answers. It's great for that. It's totally open to the Stack Overflow totally sucks because because it's a place where you can ask a question and anybody can answer that question. So a lot of people do answer the question and they answer it in different ways and they all say that their way is the best and it's very confusing. So if you are looking for answers, yes, Stack Overflow is useful. Generally what I do is I scroll to the very bottom and I start with the last comment because I'll kind of show you what the site looks like. Because generally the first person is like, I don't understand what you mean. And they give some answer that may or may not be correct. And then if you scroll down to the bottom, usually the conversation has resolved and that the last one is usually the best one. In this case, it looks like, oh yeah, and then there's always like people are always sharing really great information. So this is like cross-browser TTF, blah, 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 blah. So TTF stands for True Type Font, and OTF stands for Open Type Font. TTF is Apple owned, Open Type is Google, I think. Open Type? No, Open Type is, I don't know, owned by someone else. Now that we're thinking about Open Type, so the other thing is like some like TTF and WOFF are the best kinds of fonts. Oh, now it says OTF works in most browsers. We can find that out. So here's OTF. So let's grab this. So we want this tag. And I guess we can, yeah. We just want this one. Copy. And then I downloaded that file. Here it is down here. So let's go make this work. Show in Finder. Okay. I'm gonna stick it in. I'm gonna make 2 windows. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go to Alana codes. Oh, good. Okay. Okay, I'll put it on my home site. So I like to have my folders in a folder, or my fonts in a folder called fonts, just because the more HTML files you get, like the crazier it gets. So I'm gonna make a folder called fonts. And then I'm going to just open this up. I don't really need the zip file in my GitHub. So I'm gonna expand this zip file and see what's in here. And it looks like there's a license, and then it's given me chunk 5 print and chunk 5 regular. I don't want to have any files on my server that have spaces. I'm going to keep this uppercase, it's fine, but I don't want these spaces, so I'm going to replace them with dashes. And I really like chunk 5 print, so I'm just going to grab that one. I don't care about the other one. And just so I still have this folder, I'm going to option drag this into fonts, and that'll make a copy instead of moving it. And then I want to look at the license. And I may, if they want me to, they probably want some sort of credit. Let's see, it looks like a general OLF license. Yeah, so when you want to give people credit, a lot of times a README file of your project is good. So I'm gonna actually save that for another talk, because README files are a whole other ball of wax. Okay, so there's my folder of fonts, and I have my code, which I probably need to copy again. So let's go to my index page. Alana codes index. I'm just gonna like get it up and running locally. So there's my font now. It looks like I'm using Impact. My CSS is here. So let's open my style. I'm gonna put my my fonts above any of my styles. Oh, good. Okay. So here's my generic font face import tag. So this kind of works differently. If it's got an @ it means it's like it's a whole other, it's a whole thing. So I really only need 2 things. So OTF is the kind that I'm using, and it's an open type format. So I'm good there. When you search for code, you want to make sure that the format is like, it has to be typed out the right way. So I grabbed this, so I know this is probably right. And then I'm going to point to my fonts folder. So let's take a minute to think about this. I am in style.css, which is inside a CSS folder. So I'm not in the main directory. I'm in another directory, and I need to get out of it first to go to the main directory. And then I need to go into fonts. So this is like something really important to think about when you're, especially if you have your CSS somewhere else. So the way to get out is you go .. So get me out of this directory, get me out of CSS, and then go into fonts. So then I'm going to go fonts / and then because I'm lazy, I'm going to right click and say rename so that I can just copy and paste this whole name. And then close that. And then so it's fonts and then / there's the file name. Right now it's called Growlblow Web. I could actually name this anything I want. I could name it frou. That's totally fine. You kind of want to have it in quotes. Not sure why they didn't have it in quotes, but okay, let's use frou. So in H1 I'm using impact, so let's change that. So I'm going to grab my frou font and I'm going to replace impact. So let's see if that worked. Yep. Okay, there's my frou font. So you can name that whatever you want. It's better to name it the actual name. So I could name it chunk 5 print. But I just wanted to point out that this is what is telling the rest of your CSS where to go look for this, where to go look for whatever this is. If it's a Google font, if it's a file, it's looking for this, this font family name. So I'm going to replace that. Okay. There you go. And then let's just make it really, really big so we can see it. And then I want to do one more thing. I want it like really big. Yay, cool. I love this, like, it's so chunky. Okay, so something more normal. So there is file. So what if I have another one? What if I have another font I want to use? I just copy this and paste it. And then this one would be, maybe I want the other chunk 5. Let's go grab that one. Chunk 5 regular. Copy that in. That one has no space. Come on. Come on, I know you're there. This isn't updating very well, is it? There we go. This little arrow will update your files. Chunk 5 - regular. Oh, uppercase R. You got to be really careful. .otf. Okay. So they're the same. If it was true type, I would want to do true type. Or if it was a WAF, I would want it to be a WAF. What is WAF? It's like web open type something. I don't even know. But WAF and true type are the best ones because they are supported all over. But apparently I think OTF is also fairly safe now. Okay, so now I'm just going to call this one chunk 5 instead of chunk 5. And then maybe I'll apply it to, let's make the body tag chunk 5. So this is going to be horrible. Okay, there you go. Okay, so harder to see because the print chunk 5 is close, but now I've got like a really clean chunk 5 for all my content, which is crazy. So how do you really know if it's working? There's a couple things that you need to watch out for. If you have this installed, so I'm going to install chunk 5 print. if I install this font, and for some reason I don't get any of this right, if there's a typo, something, and I push this live, if I look at it on my machine, it's going to look fine because my browser is first going to try to look for it in here or in the HTML files. If it doesn't find it, it's going to look in my system and it's going to use it if it can find it. So this is like a huge problem that happens in this class, is that students' websites look great. I always tell people, make other people look at your sites to make sure that they look good to other people, not just you on your machine. No one ever takes me up on the advice. And then they get to their critique and I load their site for the first time on my machine and it looks like doo-doo because the font isn't loading. So the way to check for that is if you're using, I think most of you are probably using FontBook or whatever font library system you're using. If you go into FontBook, you right click on the font and you can disable it. If you're using some other font suitcase, another way to do it is you can drag it out into, I usually have like a fonts disabled folder. So you may have to physically move the files, but whichever way your font, like I would just Google like whatever font management system you're using, just Google like, how do I disable a font? Then you can really make sure that it's working. The other thing I like to do is if a font is like super close to like the system font, like in this case, I don't know what chunk 5 would recommend, probably like Chicago or something. Chicago, it's pretty clear, like it's pretty easy to tell if you're like using Chicago or chunk, right? Maybe Times, I don't know. But in the cases where it's like really similar, I like to like stick with cursive, because cursive, unless you're using like a cursive font, you know if there's something wrong. If you refresh your page, so let's like make something wrong with my font import. So that's chunk 5. What if I have a typo here, right? So these don't match up anymore. So it's not going to find chunk 5. So if I hit refresh, so now I know this is definitely cursive and not chunk 5. So yeah, that's another way to check, but always make it go back to something more friendly. Like in this case, I don't know, I'll just use Chicago. Chicago. Okay. And then Adobe Type Kit is fairly straightforward. They actually have a code link. So if you go to Type Kit, you have to be logged into your Adobe account, and then you wait. So it has a quick start guide. I'm just gonna like search for fonts. I'll just start by typing something. Happy, halogen, hack, Harry, Gloria, hallelujah. That sounds interesting. Harvester. And then this page takes forever. All right, it's pretty fun. So you activate the font in your account. So Adobe goes, oh yeah, I know you're using this. And then it says success. And then after it's activated, you click on this little code button. And then what? You have to like have a project. I just have all mine at Art 341. These are other fonts that I've activated. So this is something to point out, is that Futura is a licensed font. Some of the fonts, like you can't find them. Garamond is one, but there's a PT version of Futura, which PT stands for something that evaluates to like it's public, something public. Anyway, it's publicly available. So there is a Futura PT. But okay, so regular and then save, and then I think it just gives me the code. Yeah, so here's the link that I can put in the head of my document. Let's add this one to my website. Okay, I don't want body to be chunk 5. Okay, I'll do this first. So on my index page, are you the right index page? Yes. I'm going to link it. I want to make sure that I link it above my style sheet because things load linearly. So I want to say, yep, I'm loading some fonts. And then below that, then my style sheet can say, oh, I see those fonts that you've loaded. So you want to make sure you go in order. And then so that goes there. And then this is just sort of like what you would put in your style. So let's change my body. So for body, I have chunk. I'm going to take that out, paste in this stuff. So font weight 400 is actually the same thing as normal. And those, it's the default. So I could keep them. I don't really care. So I'm going to take them out because I don't really need them. All right, let's check out my amazing website now. Now it's going to be really cool. Where'd it go? I lost my website. Fine. Fine, fine, fine. That's not right. Design journal. I wonder if I need it. Let's try it. Oh, I did need it. That's very interesting. Now I want to know if it's style that I need or weight. Let's find out. Okay, I don't need style. I guess I probably just need weight. What? No, it just wasn't loading before. Okay. Notice that it doesn't have quotes, which is interesting. So Type Kit fonts don't need quotes. All right. That's a lot of talking. I'm going to go back and ask you things. Yeah, I was going to have a quiz today and I just didn't because I got like so bogged down. How's project 1 going? Oh, I hate Zoom.
I know it's kind of weird. The project's going all right.
I don't. Cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you guys got the crazy jQuery demo. That was really insane. It probably freaked you out. I'm sorry that that was freaky. If it was freaky, jQuery can be weird to look at for the first time. I promise I'll do like a rewind on that and just like start from scratch. But it was like an exposure of like, here's how this might work. That said, I'll probably go down like a Google road. We'll talk a little bit about CodePen. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep talking. Here I go. So yep, Googling, and then let's break out into breakout rooms. So Googling, web development is all about Googling, and it's all about stealing code. So when I was learning, I think I probably did a lot of like, I needed to do this. And so I would go find 5 things that sort of did the thing I needed them to do. And then I would like pick and pull, like I would start with one and then I would try to figure out how to modify it to do more similar to what I wanted it to do. And that is like, you just have to not be afraid to break stuff. So let's go look at CodePen. So my first thing I'm going to do is show you CodePen, which is basically like a library of code that people can keep and share. So let's Google something. I want to Google something that like might be of use. Like let me get rid of some of these pages. This one was actually cool. I'm going to keep this one open. This is like a sticky, smooth nav. So you can click on these and it like scrolls up. It's pretty sweet. Section 7. And this has a CodePen associated with it. Chat. Okay. So I'm going to leave that one. Oh yeah, Zen Habits, also a good woo-woo site if you're looking for more woo-woo in your life. I kind of hate that term. I should stop saying it. Okay, closing that. Oh, CSS Zen Garden. I just had like a thought. I'm gonna keep that up for later. All right, that's enough things closed. This is a cool demo. We will work on this after a little more work on CSS animation. Oh, it doesn't load very fast. It has like really nice transitions, but Zoom is slow. Okay, so I want to look on CodePen for something. CodePen. Let's see. And I did this with Michael, who is in this class. Yeah. So I did this with Michael where I was like, okay, well, let's look for like a drag and drop canvas thing. But let's look for like a smooth scroll content. I don't know what. We'll just see what comes up. CodePen, smooth scroll anchor links. Sounds great. Okay, so you get to CodePen and you've got generally 3 tabs open. Is that like the same exact? It's not exactly the same, but it looks like it does the same thing. I must have smooth scroll on the brain today. So this is like each section is a whole page probably. So if I go to section 2, yeah, this is also sweet. Okay. So let's look at this code and then try to get it to work. And I'll kind of show you how I would break this down. So I get here, I'm like, yeah, that's great. First thing I'd probably do is log in or make an account on CodePen so that you can fork this, this code. The fork button, annoyingly, is in the footer. Like, don't ask me why. But so I'm gonna fork this so I don't lose it. And then, ooh, there's actually an export button. Usually I just copy and paste, but it looks like you might be able to export it all. It also looks like you can just like embed the whole freaking thing, which is kind of crazy. Okay, well, close that. I don't want to embed it. Oh, that's like if you're writing a blog post. Oh, I made this code and here's what it does. Kind of like CSS Tricks had. That's how they embedded that. Okay. Oh, see, now I'm in the wrong one. Okay, here we go. So HTML. So I'll just like make some test file. And a lot of times to be lazy, I'll do it in like all the same file. So in the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript, I'll just make it all in one. So I'm going to call this like smooth scroll nav.html. And then now that it's saved with the .html in the file name, I can use Emmet on it. So I'm going to do exclamation point and then tab. So now I can paste that HTML in the body. So let's go back. We'll get this stuff copied. I'm going to stick that in there. And then here's the watch out. Watch out if this says C, or if it says S, CSS, it's a different kind of CSS. It's called SAS and it requires a compiler. And it's out of the scope of this class. But if it does say SCSS, and you can kind of tell because it'll be like, it'll just look different and there'll be classes like embedded inside of other classes. But over here in this arrow thing, if this was SCSS, it would say convert to regular CSS. So you can actually convert it. And then it'll say CSS and then I think parentheses compiled or something like that. And then you know you're safe. So I'm going to copy all this. And then, don't do this with your projects because then you'd have to like paste the same, you'd have to like paste the style over and over for each page. But because this is a just single file, I'm just going to put it in here. So if I make a style tag in the head, I can paste CSS in the head of my document. So there's the CSS for that. And then the last one is JavaScript. And so here's another watch out. So jQuery always has a $sign. So if you're looking through this JavaScript and you see $signs in it, it means that it needs jQuery. So I'm going to copy it and put it over there. But it means that's not cookies. My kid's like, why do I smell cookies? And JavaScript is best if you load it at the bottom, right before the body, the closing body tag. So I'm going to type script and then tab, and then I'm going to paste that in. So there's my script. If I run this right now, so let's see what it'll say to me. It's probably going to tell me I already have a server running. If I run this, it won't work. And then if I inspect, so if I right click and I say inspect, and I go to my console, which is where my JavaScript errors are going to show up. So see, there's something bad happening. So if I go to console, it's going to say $sign is not defined. And that's because jQuery wants that $sign. So that's when you go look for the jQuery code, which if you just type in jQuery code link, that'll take you to the right place. It's that page I showed you the other day. And then if you click on either uncompressed or minified is what you want, but minified is a little bit smaller file. And then you can copy that script. And then similar to fonts, everything loads linear. So if you're using jQuery, you want to load it before the script that's using it, right? So you're saying, okay, I got jQuery for you. Here it is. You can use it now. And then the script below it will be like, cool, I see you. I see jQuery, hooray. If it's below it, you'll still get that error, probably. And then now if we go back to my page, what is it complaining about? The yellow is just a warning. We don't care about warnings. Content JS, I don't know. Okay, so if I hit refresh, we'll go back to elements. And then now, hopefully, it's working. So now I have a copy that's not in my project that I can totally mess up and get really confused on and start all over from scratch if I get too lost, right? So now I can go in and like, okay, well, I don't want it to say section 1, right? So maybe my website is about candy, because cookies, snickerdoodle, and then this one is oatmeal bullet chunk. And section one is anchor. Oh, go to section 3. I'm confused. Whatever. Section 3 is oatmeal chocolate. But I can like start messing around and try to figure out where things go. And then I can like change these links. So it looks like the link for section 1 is a pound section -1, and that's going to link to this div, I think. Wait, anchor ID. Yeah, so this ID is going to link to this. Yeah, to this ID. So I could try changing that. So pound, I'll just call it oatmeal for short. And then I'll link it back to oatmeal. So I could just try that first. You always want to kind of do it in small increments. So if I go to section 3, come on, go to section 3. Section 2, okay. Oh, see, I'm already messing up. So I can like fix my errors, but not in my project where it will make me sad. So yeah, and then once you get it working, that's when you can like move it over and incorporate. And when you do move it over, if you've already got JavaScript importing, like if you've already got your JavaScript or your jQuery, you only need to import that once. Okay. CodePen. So there's tons of cool stuff on CodePen. You can Google CodePen and whatever you're looking for, or you can just go right there. It's really awesome. And then you can just start collecting stuff that you want in your project, or that you want to figure out how to do. But there's like a trending, you can follow people whose code you like. It's really fun. Like, I kind of want to see what Curious Bear is all about. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, honey. Okay, so this looks like a SVG animation, like that has a moving, like these parts are moving. The nose is moving, the eyes are moving. It looks like the ears might even be moving. This actually would be a fun CSS project. So let's look and see. Yeah, so this is an SVG, this bear graphic. And then it's got a bunch of CSS. Whoa, there's an SVG in the background. The width of the bear right now is 200. I can make him 600. Yay, he's giant. So like, it's vector, so you can change it how you want. And then so here they've got classes for each one of these. These are basically like the layers of the Illustrator file. So there's like something that's choosing the ears and the head and the eyes. And so those are probably getting moved with the cursor. So this is super cool. So the cursor, they've changed it to be a honey pot instead of like the whatever finger or pointer. It's a custom cursor. And so they have those layers following the cursor. Cursor, pointer. Yeah, let's dive into this later. I'm gonna fork this and save it. I'm gonna add it to, I have a bunch of collections, I think. So you can have like different categories. So JS fun, animation fun. Add it to that. Okay, moving on. So yeah, CodePen. And then for other stuff for Googling, like a lot of people are doing the like sticky footer or sticky navigation. So what if you don't know that it's called sticky? You could say like CSS navigation that stays on top of page, right? You can use really natural language, and generally navigation, wow. Navigation. Generally, it'll come up with some pretty good links. How to create a fixed menu on W3 schools. How to make my CSS menu stay on the top of the screen. There's Stack Overflow. You're welcome to brave the waters of Stack Overflow. And then usually there's like a CSS tricks in here. There's free code camp is also great. Yeah, there's CSS tricks. So so yeah, you just like, if you can try as possible, think about like, well, the code is probably CSS or HTML, so have one of those in there, and then just type out what you're trying to do, and you probably will find something similar or close to it. Okay, it's 1:19. I feel like we should take a 10-minute break. And then, so my plan is to do, let's come back at 1:30. And then let's do like 30-minute breakout. So breakouts till 2. Yeah, and I will think about if there's anything else that I have forgotten that I should cover today. So yeah, send me stuff in the chat if there's other stuff that you want me to cover today that I'm not thinking about. And let's meet back here at 1:30. Cool? Okay. I'll see you soon.